Okay, that was Oshinoko Season 1, Episode 11. What a way to end a season. Like, just bookend, like, the last scene that we got with I and the flashback from the prologue.
That,
God.
and to have right before that, almost this, like, little preview section.
Yeah.
Where, like, here's some faces that, like, aren't necessarily familiar to you. One of them was familiar, but, like, then some of the others weren't necessarily familiar.
Yeah.
And it's, like, setting up of, like, okay, we're setting the stage, if you will, to put on this production.
Yeah. I have a few things I definitely really want to talk about. There were so many parallels this episode, or not even parallels. There were so many reminders of I this episode that I was really happy to see, but one of them I really was not expecting was the fan who was in front of the person who ended up murdering I.
Mm-hmm.
Back when she had the concert with B Komochi years ago, and him being involved in this one like hit me pretty hard. Like, just
I
like,
really liked bringing that back. I mean, it was especially, I'm thankful for it as we got a bookend of the prologue at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
To have that character that was a big fan, especially of Ai's in B Komachi, was really great to see. Especially when we get the Aqua bit, and we know that at that same setting, all those years ago, we had one of the greatest bits between Aqua and Ruby that I think captured everyone's hearts, and they were like, I want to watch these kids grow up.
It wasn't even just like it captured everybody's hearts there, even though it did trend a bit. What it did more than anything, though, was elicit a response in I that motivated a genuine smile, which then turned out great for her career and her public, perception. Mm-hmm. And what it did here was the same thing, but with Kana. And it was, Aqua being a part of both of those instances.
And they were like, he's cheating. He has all of our glow sticks. Yeah. But I think he had Mem and Ruby's in one hand and then Kana's singular in another hand.
Yeah, correct. But once he was doing that, Kana had a couple of great lines, like, about, like, turning everybody's glow sticks white, And,
like, make you love me kind of thing.
Yeah. I loved right off the bat we get how good at this Ruby is, because it's not just some pipe dream that she has. It's something that she is very knowledgeable about. And her stage presence for this being like her first time performing, the talking in between songs and like acknowledging, oh, you guys liked that one? Guess what's coming next? You know, I was so happy to hear you guys singing along to all the words. Like, she's a natural at it.
And it was really great because we got that line from that old B Komachi fan that was like, the name might be all they have that's the same, or all they share. And then we get her, and honestly, like, we know that in her past life she spent countless hours. It's almost like a parallel to Akane being able to break down Ai's character, because it was in the same way.
Yeah.
Like, both of them studied Ai and watched Ai very closely, in for separate reasons, obviously, and at separate times. But both of them were able to achieve a similar light about them once they did research and had watched so heavily content of Ai.
Yeah, I keep thinking back to that scene where Ruby was too scared to dance because of how fragile her body used to be, and I helped out with that, and that broke my heart. And to see her up on stage now, like, thriving, I love it. I'm very it's weird to be like proud of a character 11 episodes in, but I'm very proud of Ruby. I'm kind of surprised because this show delivers itself in a slightly different way than I'd expect a show in the same genre to. So, like, typically, for example, like, we got a character named Mana in the beginning of the episode.
Like, seeks out cute girls.
Yeah, and the commentary of how that stage sucks, it's hot, it's terrible.
Hellish.
Like, typically I would be like, okay, where's that going to come up to cause an issue later in the episode? Or even in a typical, like, anime that I would assume would be in a similar vein, I would have thought that maybe even Ruby would have been in her own head, and we would have gotten like visions of her experiences with Ai to motivate her. But that's all left on the shelf because it's already exposed to us. We've already learned all of that and progressed to that point where now we don't need that. We're focused on Kana during this, and which gave me some of my favorite lines in this entire series so far. She kept reiterating the same point again and again, but using different language. But this is one of the examples when Kana was looking back on her past, saying, "Say that you can make use of me, then I'd work like a pack horse," and her just saying like, "Give me an inch, let me know that just express that you believe in me and fight back in that instance just a little bit, and I will." Like, work my ass off. I'll go that extra mile. You won't even be able to believe it. And I love that in her character.
Just that, like, little bit of support that she needs. I mean, she's been left rather empty by everyone, and definitely hasn't gotten the praise for behind the scenes working so hard.
Yeah.
If anything, she's been overhearing, or we got Aqua overhearing the fact that they're aware that she's doing this in the industry, and they're taking advantage of that fact and not giving her the praise for doing that. They're just like taking and taking.
With her mom and the manager, like her whole disposition about herself, she's very quick to be like, "Oh no, take care of yourself, handle that." And I think that built up after so many instances and experiences of Kana being the strong person who's trying to put others first, that there's something in her that is like, God, I wish that after saying, "No, go take care of yourself," they'd come back and say, "No, I need you."
I think the mom was a great example of how we get the line from Ruby that, like, Aqua has a twisted personality.
Yeah.
But once we brought the mom scenario into this Kana time period, like 7 minutes into the episode, where she was saying all these things, that was a little, there's twisted there, because it was almost like, hey, remember, like, I'm a kid and I'm your kid, and even if I say I'm okay, like, and it's like this torn, because obviously in the example we got of her going to take care of, I think, the grandfather or something, of course you want your family members to be taken care of, and so it's probably this torn bit of her, like, yes, I want them to be happy and I want them to be taken care of, but I don't want to lose out anymore, or I want you to at least come back running to be,
or like there to be like, a little more reluctancy, like,
or a little more reluctancy to accepting, or check in on me more, like say thank you more, or tell me you're proud of me, or
like, okay, if that same thing happened and we wanted Kana's mom to still go take care of Kana's grandfather, great. But I think that, and I don't think that any part of Kana would want her mom to be like, "No, I'm going to stay with you." But what I think Kana would have probably loved is like, you know what? I'm not just going to like accept that. Once a month, we're going to have a day that we're hanging out, or like some effort, I guess, exerted back to show that time with her is still considered important from other parties, and people acknowledge how much she's putting in. Kana's like my favorite character that isn't Mem in the show. I love Mem for like
overarching favorite character.
Definitely. The bell pepper exercise keeps being brought up, and I love it.
I really like that we got 2 songs.
Yeah.
Because of the journey that we see happen throughout the 2. I feel like if it was just 1 song, or we just ended after the first and Kana hadn't, gotten that push or that shine, like, we start the second song, it's like a roller coaster. Like, we all start and we're kind of like, okay, yeah, we might be going up the hill a little bit, and Kana's trying, everyone's trying, they're smiling, and then Ruby really takes the stage, and as Ruby's taking the stage and as the song progresses, Kana is in her head so much that she's slowly falling back, and she's
losing expression
to the point where once we get to the second song, she has her head down and they don't even show us her eyes.
And then once they do zoom in on her eyes, they're way different than what they were in the first song, or at least in the opening. We had some absolutely amazing animation during those 2 songs too. It was great. I feel like they put a lot into it. Okay, so this is when that second song is starting, and we see Kana's head drop down. You can't see her eyes, but then it brings you closer to them. There's no one who looks my way. It's just that self-doubt, and it's like with the help of Aqua and Ruby, she was brought out of it. It was so nice to see. Tell me everything's gonna be okay, and then Aqua just goes off, I guess, and he's taking it so seriously.
I know, his expression is so serious, and I love that it literally creates this like face of like laughter on all 3 of the girls.
And I've decided that as long as I'm going to be an idol, I'm going to make all of your glow sticks white. I love it.
There was a few things in this episode where it's like, it could be talking about multiple things.
Yeah.
Like, she could mean all of the glow sticks in Aqua's hand, or she could mean the whole crowd. And then at the end there, are we talking about our real life battle for love with Aqua, or are we talking about this play that we're in?
Yeah. So I like how it has two meanings, especially like the glow stick meaning. How I'm choosing to take most of it right now is Aqua giving her that little extra push or touch or like, I'm here, I can see you, what she's been asking for, has immediately, it's all she needed to immediately go like a pack horse.
She only needed one person and one thing.
And I think that her, by saying, I'm going to make all of your glow sticks white, isn't at all just Aqua. It's everybody in the audience. It was what she needed to get back on track and like really push her to be the best that she can be. I loved it. And I also loved Mem's reaction to her realizing that Kana has a crush on Aqua and her conflict that she's in now.
She has two friends now that she cares for a great deal. Obviously, having gone through big things with both parties. And so obviously she wants the best for those people. That's
something that I'm very nervous to see play out.
It seems like Kana, at least in Mem's head, in this episode has a step ahead of Akane, where she's like, oh, Akane, you're gonna have to step up. After Ruby gives us the line, when he's with Senpai, he's a bit more like his old self.
Yeah. They both are obviously to much different degrees. They both are twisted in a similar way with regards to like the industry and how they feel about it. And that like extra wall that they put up. And they can kind of relate to each other, I feel like. I love how that they're connecting over kind of coming at each other a little bit.
And can you really even imagine Akane? Like, Ruby's like, that's how my brother gets closer to people now that he's all twisted up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine Akane being able to, as Mem is the person that we're putting in the center of, like, this issue of, like, oh, both of my friends. Does Mem then go to Akane and be like, hey, I heard that Aqua likes when a girl, like, messes with him a little bit, or, you know.
Yeah.
And is Akane gonna try that? I mean, possibly. We've seen her do something similar with her research with I.
Yeah.
So
I relate to this line about Aqua of unless someone takes jabs at him like that, his relationship with them won't last long. I love that. It's like getting deeper into that friendship, you know, and like uncovering or breaking down that wall. My thing that I really want to talk about that I've kind of been waiting for is we got and what that love interest could be. So we got a couple things this episode in regards to I's change and who this guy might have been. The first I'm going to say is one of the last things we got, which was like seconds until the end of the episode when Aqua's saying that he'll find him. We get a shot of the proposal of Tokyo Blade laying on a desk through like a window, you know. Is that the proposal on the desk of the person that we're looking for? That's kind of how I interpret it.
My current feeling is that this person is not in the spotlight. This is a stage crew person. This is a person that maybe she never wanted to, obviously for reasons, don't want to put your relationship out there for her position as an idol, but maybe even because this person didn't necessarily want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
So it could have been multi-layered of why we kept this such a secret.
So do you also interpret this scene of the proposal laying on the desk being the desk, like the proposal on the desk of the person who we're looking for?
I think if we think about all of the people that it could be, it'd be like, why wouldn't they show us that it was that person?
Yeah. After showing
like
the face
director
of so many
got
other
the
people.
proposal because Aqua gave it to him and he's looking it over. I don't know. So I do like that.
Because it's not just some pipe dream that she had. Because it's not just some pipe dream that she had. Because it's not just some pipe dream that she had.
Because it's not just some pipe dream that she had.